Welcome guys into another episode of Boom Arena. Today we're gonna be pushing 5600 melos using this spell cycle deck. Well, on how spell cycle stands in today's meta we're gonna see just in a moment. Some people try to play it. I think it's still just not too viable to play on ladder, but yeah. Missile and poison are, in particular poison is still going strong, and missile just to finish off some bigger cards might become handy. So without further ado, let's jump to some gameplay. And as a first game we're gonna be up against Mr. Dark. As a good manner, let's throw some nice play, and he's gonna begin with Fire Tinies. I'm gonna begin with Fire Tiny. He plays Ice Tiny and he throws Oops, so gonna see what that's gonna mean. Gonna exchange some rolling steals, basic stuff, nothing out of the ordinary. Let's see what he's playing, because yeah, usually if you're a spell cycle player and you're going against some cycle deck, you're in a good spot. So we're gonna see if that's gonna be true. I'm gonna wait for him to respond to my archers. He plays the steel hammer, so it's very possible that he's playing some kind of super ape shenanigans, and there is. Okay, so it's gonna be super ape out of Mr. Dark. I'm gonna actually allow him to get one hit on my tower for a better trade, and right now, okay, I'm gonna force out another card of his rotation, which is gonna be obviously a piercing archer. And now that we have all the information about our opponent, we can comfortably start cycling our spells, and yeah, that's gonna be our win condition. It is very unfortunate that today we won't be able to do a counterplay, and if we ever fall behind in damage, we're gonna be just behind, and that's obviously not something that we want to see, as we are gonna just try to trade as good as possible throughout the entire game. So the trick I'm gonna try to pull now, it's gonna be stopping this steel hammer at the bridge, like this. I'm gonna just eliminate Super Ape very early. So that was a good trade for me, because even though I didn't get a damage out of it, it was a very good mana trade, and obviously right now I can just play a missile. However, I have to react to that Super Ape first, so right now I think he doesn't have a cycle advantage, so I can just throw a missile and be completely comfortable. And yeah, right now he's gonna try to be absolutely all in, and it's gonna actually work out for him. So very huge plays for Mr. Dark. We're gonna try to reset. We have a bomb tower, so he shouldn't be pushing. It's very obvious for me what I'm gonna try to do. Some skeletons to kill this super ape, and I'm gonna play a Fire Tiny to kill this piercing archer in an instant. Actually, he's getting very good damage right now, which is gonna be very annoying. I should start playing these bomb towers further away. He's gonna try to play something, but then he is not. Alright, so with this matchup, pretty much all we care about is a damage, and so far he's actually better off with a damage gotten. All these archers will get a value like this. Actually, I'm not getting so many opportunities to throw a missile, so I'm gonna have to sometimes throw a poison like this. He will probably wait for me to throw a missile, then go with Super Ape. And yeah, those are very solid plays out of him. I actually wonder who's gonna come out on top. If he's gonna play Super Ape right now, he should win, but yeah, he's not gonna risk it. I'm gonna play Missile. That's gonna be good game. So very close game to start things off. He played very well, but unfortunately I had a slight matchup advantage. Let's go to the game number 2. And we're gonna face him again. Hopefully he has changed the deck, because if he didn't, we will see the exact same action, and we do. So I'm gonna throw a missile since he used an earthquake, and yeah, we're gonna just try to survive that. If he does have Super Ape, he won't be able to earthquake, so this bomb tower will be actually pretty strong. He had to spend a extra piercing archer, which we can very cheaply counter, unless he plays steel hammer. That criteria given, we will have to spend a bit more. And right now we're gonna be back to bomb tower, so we absolutely sit back with no issues whatsoever. If he's gonna play Super Ape, I'm gonna just cycle Rolling Steel and play bomb tower. And he's gonna be playing actually Earthquake to kill our bomb tower and not damage to our tower. I don't think it's a good call, but I believe he can only make 2 calls, 3 calls to be exact. He can either play it safe by using the EQ on tower. He can play it risky and try to break through, and he can not use any earthquake at all, in which case we're gonna just in which case he will have to cycle to another Super Ape to make it work. And right now I'm gonna just try to play a missile and force him to go into us, because right now his only play is to outcycle my defenses, and if he doesn't manage to, I'm gonna just get away with this free missile, which is, well, as you probably can tell, pretty good. I don't know if I can poison it. It's pretty tempting, but I think it's... yeah, I'm gonna poison it anyway, and I'm gonna try to use a missile on the next defense, like this, and a Rolling Steel, because, well, obviously it doesn't perfectly defend Super Ape. Right now he will probably go in with another Super Ape, and he does. I'm gonna be on time with Bomb Tower. And right now I actually have played pretty sloppy, so he will have another Super Ape without me having Bomb Tower for it, because I've played Swordman first and then Bomb Tower, so if he were to be fast enough he would get one free Super Ape, but he didn't, and yeah, we are gonna just take out this Super Ape. He should play EQ on the tower, since he is very lucky in damage, and also he couldn't like get a break. And right now I think it's a bad play, because I'm gonna get... okay, I'm gonna get a miss on the bomb tower, which is very bad, because right now he's gonna just get infinite hits. And that puts him pretty much back into the game. I missed bomb tower by 1 tile, and this piercing archer will lock as well, which is... this third hit was pretty annoying and unnecessary. I think that's gonna be a loss. I'm gonna play a missile. I'm gonna play a poison. And right now he will have to play Super Ape at some point. I'm gonna also play Fire Tiny to force out some bad response out of him. I'm gonna play Rolling Steel. He's gonna try to break it, and yeah, I wasn't fast enough with a missile. Also he broke my bomb tower, so yeah, we're gonna lose that. And yeah, that's how you beat the spell cycle. I shouldn't have made this mistake, but it happens. Let's jump to the next game of the video. And in the next game we're gonna face Nil with 900 medals. Throw the nice play, obviously, and he's gonna play Bomb Skeleton in the back. Usually you don't want to see these plays, because you either want to play a missile on that and reveal your evil intentions early on, or just play units, and I didn't have units on hand, so I'm gonna be just having to cycle back to them, and that's usually not a good thing, because the more mana you spend for cycling, the less you can spend for cycling spells, and that's pretty much our win condition. So we're gonna get to the good start, because our Fire Tiny connected, but it's not brilliant so far. We're gonna obviously defend Apes, and this time Bomb Tower was very handy. Also, I'm gonna try to talk about the details of the deck, because I've seen a couple of players playing Spell Cycle on ladder. Some people use Faun Keg, some people use Cyclone, and I'm gonna try to explain as good as I can why am I using neither of them. Also, this was a bad Fire Tiny, I should have used that offensively, but whatever. He's gonna go with another Apes. We're gonna play the Bomb Tower here to completely kill them off, just like that. And he's not playing any support card for now, which is usually considered bad, but against Spell Cycle it is considered good, so I'm gonna just throw a Rolling Steel, throw Fire Tiny. He's gonna throw a Footman Barrel, which is also like... At this point I believe he realized that I don't have any win condition except from spells, and he's gonna throw a Flying Bomb, and that's the moment when we throw our spell, because he's just getting too comfortable. And when he's getting too comfortable, you just have to punish him in some way. I don't want this Footman to connect, and it will. Pretty bad micro by me. We're gonna throw it all the poison. Just try to retaliate some of this damage. And I'm gonna throw the archer. So the matchup will be that he's gonna be having pretty healthy amount of play against us. He's gonna throw some bomb tower. Flying bomb, which is interesting. I'm gonna try to centralize all his aggression. Throw another bomb tower, because it's like the best card for us in this scenario. And we're gonna get away with another missile. And we have another missile on our hand. Every time your opponent throws a spell at you, it is very likely that your good play is to throw spell as well. Unless you're dying, like if you die from his good spell, you cannot use it offensively, but usually it's not the case. Usually people use it to break through, and yeah, it's very hard to break this setup. Also, I was about to explain why am I not using Faun Keg and a Cyclone. So I'm not using Cyclone because Cyclone uses mana, and although it can make you like safe and do not die to any pushes, I'm not using Cyclone because it's just too expensive for my likings. And if your deck is cheaper, like I've set it right now, you can usually get away with more stuff, and this deck isn't about perfectly defending. It is kind of, but it is more about just cycling to your spells and throwing them at your opponent. So if you're comfortable without Cyclone, you usually will get some edge, but if you're not, like I'd recommend not dying rather than just losing all of your tower health, because that's actually not good. With Spell Cycle you have to be very careful about your towers, because the only way you get damage pretty much through the entire game is through spells, so you have to be very precise with what you play. I'm gonna actually play Poison on the Steel Hammer because it weakens it a bit. I'm not committing any troops, and it's not missile. Like if it was a missile, I think my opponent would have an argument that I'm overextending or something. And will I get a kill on this piercing archer? It would be lovely if I get it, but it appears I won't. So yeah, I'm gonna play a swordman for this piercing archer. Another reason why I'm not using Cyclone is that because some Cyclone plays are just very hard to pull off, and if you miss them you lose instantly, whereas I believe having skeletons or rolling steel is just way more comfy and way more safe. I'm gonna throw the missile because he used Super Ape with EQ, and right now he will have to find a way to break me in some way. I'm gonna throw a Fire Tiny on the opposite side, just searching for some opportunity. I'm gonna use rolling steel defensively because if the super ape gets a hit, I'm pretty much dead. Like you've seen in the previous game, I actually took 3 of them, so that's not good usually. I'm gonna throw a fire tiny on the opposite side. I'm gonna poison this steel hammer. He will try to play a piercing archer right here, and I'm gonna predict it. That's right. And now he plays a bomb tower. That's another sign where you want to throw a spell. When your opponent throws a building, you don't have any troops that are like stopped by buildings. So yeah, throwing a building usually will be a bad thing for your opponent to do in any scenario. So I'm gonna just try to punish it. This tiny isn't breaking through. This bomb tower actually will give him an EQ value, which I pretty much couldn't avoid. And if I can cycle to another bomb tower, or even, yeah, I'm gonna just, okay, so he pretty much waited me, and I'm gonna use the defensive missile because right now I didn't have a better option. He will get a lineup because I couldn't pretty much stop it. And right now I have a bomb tower, I have the advantage, and pretty much I have a win. So it was a very fun game, and in the meantime I'm pretty sure I explained very well why I don't use Cyclone with this spell cycle deck. Let's go to the next game of this video. GG. And in this game I'm gonna actually try to explain why am I using a bomb tower instead of very commonly used Faun Keg. Even though Faun Keg can counter air, this deck is solid against air anyway, and yeah, I don't have problem against air decks, I have problem against ground decks, and it is because, well, so many troops are just, so many troops can literally swarm me, so like bomb tower is the highest HP defensive building, except like from mortar if you count it as a defensive building. Here these archers were to predict the piercing archer, but he didn't go for it, so I'm gonna just use the poison against it, and hopefully I won't fall back with a cycle. I'm gonna play far tiny to force something on the opposite side, and this is the expensive response, so it was already seen as a good thing for us. I'm gonna give him EQ, because if he EQs here, I feel like, no, I cannot throw a missile. That was actually pretty bad of me, and he didn't, I mean, he respected my play more than he should, because he didn't get EQ on the tower. Usually I'm playing buildings perfectly, but sometimes I'm gonna just try to get a lesser kite for a actually, I don't know if there's a reason to get less. Yeah, there's no reason to get lesser kites unless your opponent is playing something nasty on the opposite side. And right now, he didn't defend my fire tiny, so it's a pretty good tell that he's gonna try to break this position. And yeah, I'm gonna just try to defend it, because he sacrificed the entire fire tiny's damage to break this position, and unfortunately for him, he failed. So we will have a hold, and what I was supposed to talk about, yeah, bomb tower. So will he play piercing archer? He probably will. There we go. And he's gonna get a good EQ. Why am I using bomb tower? So first reason obviously is hit points. Bomb tower is way more durable than any other building, especially Faun Keg. Faun Keg is very fragile, and I just don't see myself using it, because the thing is, Faun Keg can defend many things, but some things are just indefendable with Faun Keg, and you need a backup. Usually bomb tower is sufficient in this regard, so Faun Keg in a way is less cost efficient than bomb tower, and if you are playing with deck that relies pretty much on cost efficient traits, you want to get them, obviously. So that's why I'm just playing them. I'm gonna play bomb tower here. I'm gonna just try annoy him, he's gonna annoy me back and I'm gonna miss poison, which is very bad. It's very bad because right now he's gonna get to play Super Ape and I will have to react to it very well, and I did. Okay, this Fire Tiny was a safety Fire Tiny in case he was more aggressive with spells, and right now I feel like throwing a missile is a good call because he pretty much has to break in this position. If he doesn't, well, he's GG's. So I'm gonna distract this Piercing Archer with Swordman. I'm gonna get some surrounds, Rolling Steel on Piercing Archer as well, and that's gonna be good game. So yeah, two major reasons why I prefer Bomb Tower to Faun Hut is like more HP and more defense against ground. Another reasons should be very straightforward, like I'm just trying to get as cost efficient as possible, so like Rolling Steel, Skeletons, Swordmen, Archers, all these stuff are just good by themselves and they don't need much backup. Whereas T-Rex, which is also very cost efficient unit, usually needs backup to actually score well. So right now we're gonna actually go against Airdex, and in this particular matchup I think the Faun Hut would be way better, but it's like the only matchup we pretty much give up, and even though we don't have Faun Hut, we still score pretty well against it, because we basically have Archers and Poison against it, and it's already more than enough to just win you many air battles. Like, air decks are pretty much about stacking things in the air, and if you kill the flying robot, everything will be very vulnerable to your spells. I'm gonna play Poison because he used Lightning. It was very rude of him to just play a spell without any invitation on my tower, even though it's the only thing that I'm gonna be doing for the, I believe, next 15 minutes to be exact. And yeah, we're gonna Psycho Rolling Steel. I feel like he's gonna be playing Bomb Girl, so I'm gonna hold a Swordman here. Yeah, he's not gonna be playing Bomb Girl, so we're gonna just play Bomb Tower, and he's gonna actually play Bomb Girl. Very nice. So we're gonna get the read, and obviously there are moments where you don't want to play building against Flying Robot, and there are moments when you want. Now I could play building against Flying Robot because my opponent didn't have any pressure, and I don't think he has a balloon deck. So if your opponent doesn't have balloon, you pretty much can always play building against Flying Robot. And yeah, like I've said, I don't see my opponent having balloon. Okay, he's gonna just give up. I think he realized that we have very good defense, and then he plays Darkness. So he throws Lightning. I don't know. I cannot explain it, but either way we are gonna get this win either way. With activated Viking Tower, I think it's actually unlosable position for us. And the only thing we can lose to is like the damage from a flying robot, because, well, we don't have like an instantaneous way to kill it. I'm gonna play this Swordman and bait out another Dark Knight, hopefully. Okay, he's not gonna be playing Dark Knight, he's gonna just give up, and we're gonna move to the next game of the video. Alright, so we are in another game, and now I will talk about why the Spell Cycle playstyle isn't popular in the first place. In the first place, obviously, with all Spell Cycle strategy, it all involves like playing a heavy card, which puts you in a theoretical disadvantage to, well, you just play it and get instant damage. And after that you try to prove that you actually wasn't at disadvantage at all, and you actually had your defense locked under your control. Like, your opponent cannot punish your very greedy play, and that's what it pretty much comes to. If you are a good defender and can defend all of your opponent pressure, you can play spell cycle because he pretty much cannot get more damage after you play spell. Right now he played a lightning, for instance, on my swordman, so I just played a missile instantaneously because, well, he just wasted 6 mana. This swordman wasn't afraid to use 6 mana on, and right now I'm just gonna be in a very good spot. I believe he's gonna be playing Bomb Girl soon, so I don't know. Maybe I'm paranoid, but yeah, he's gonna be playing Bomb Girl. I'm gonna try to protect my Bomb Tower for as long as possible. That's good enough. And we're gonna make this Dark Knight jump here. So we've gotten away with very clean defense. Also, we've noticed that our opponent will be playing Skeleton Keg, and in the first moment of the game he actually played 2 of them, so he has mirror as well. So it's gonna be a Dark Knight with a double Skeleton Keg. I believe he's gonna now play... Okay, he's not even gonna. He's gonna just give up. I've seen some people returning to the game today, but I don't think it's the case here. So I'm gonna just cut the recording right now and jump to the next game of the video. And we're in another game in which I'm gonna talk about why spell cycling is frustrating in the first place. Like, people don't like spell cycles because unlike other win conditions, it pretty much cannot be countered in a way. In a way, I mean, because like if you throw some spell, it's gonna lock onto your tower and do damage no matter what you do. And yeah, with that being said, you pretty much can't counter that play. But if you're in the like middle game, I mean, let's say both players are down 1k, not 1k HP, but like down 1k HP, they usually will be okay, he's gonna fly. They usually will be aware of how much mana they have. So if you throw a missile, you obviously put yourself in a very risky spot. Right now I'm gonna actually have to defend it in that way, which is just not perfect. Yeah, I'm gonna take some damage, unfortunately. That's why I was holding to a far tiny, and right now my cycle is again messed up. I don't know what's the play if he plays another Dark Knight. So what I was trying to say is there's no counterplay after playing a spell, but there's a counterplay mana-wise. So I mean, obviously missile costs a lot. Instead of that, you could have a general on the map or runners which have potential to dealing more damage, but also can be absolutely stopped. And right now I'm gonna just throw a missile, see what happens. Hopefully I'm not gonna be dead by next play. It's not playing Swordman, so I don't think it's the best utilization of your mana. I'm gonna perfectly counter it with Far Tiny. Very basic micro. Anyway, we're gonna just completely prove that actually our defense was superior here. I'm gonna throw another missile. He's gonna throw a bomb turret, and I think I can even throw a poison here. It's gonna be very scary to defend that, but if we do, we're gonna get so much. And right now I'm gonna actually try to cycle back to another missile. I'm gonna clip both gunner and the swordman, which is gonna be like perfect. I'm gonna play swordman here, and right now I'm gonna just try to hold for a dear life. If he were to predict my Far Tiny, this situation wouldn't be fun, but he tried to predict it, so props for him for making that call. I'm gonna play another missile because pretty much I have to save swordman for the later stages. I have to save bomb tower because he will just use a flying bomb on it. So yeah, I'm gonna play bomb tower. Now I'm gonna play poison. He's gonna play his flying bomb. I'm gonna counter this, and I think I'm just in a good spot because his only way is to break through. Yeah, his only way was to break through with spells, and if you're playing Dark Knight, that's not something you want to see. So I'm gonna just Okay, so he's apparently still playing. Some players just don't quit. We're gonna play rolling steel here and try to hold. That's gonna be successful hold, and I think it's over. Yeah. GG, well played, and okay, he's gonna throw another set of bullets. That was a very fun game and very instructive. If you want to know how to beat like random decks with like Dark Knight and Faun Barrel, it was pretty much a textbook. You can try to learn from it. And apart from that, I'm gonna see you in the next game of the video. Okay, so we got Mr. Dark yet again. He's gonna throw down a nice play, even though he probably wants us to mess up. If I were him, I would love to see player home to mess up as well, because so far we were actually playing pretty nice today. I'm gonna play... Okay. I was hoping that his piercing archer will lock onto my swordman, but fortunately it locked onto a bomb tower, so that's gonna be a little bummer. I'm gonna rolling steel this piercing archer to, yeah, absolutely kill it. I'm gonna get some chips from my small cards. The rule of thumb I'm trying to, I mean, at the point I'm trying to make in this matchup is pretty much try to get value out of your cards as much as possible. Alright, right now you can play missile on this steel hammer, because the next thing you will do is just to play bomb tower on this super ape. And yeah, if I don't die to this push, it's gonna be pretty well done. I'm gonna try to counter the piercing archer without hits. Okay, I know this interaction is possible. I haven't done it in any of my videos yet, but I know it's possible, so I'm gonna just keep trying. It didn't work out this time, but yeah. I'm gonna try to play Far Tiny, and if he plays Super Ape, I'm gonna just use a missile against it. And right now he's gonna be playing Super Ape like this. I'm gonna play Bomb Tower in an anti-EQ spot once again. Use this archer to work against the Steel Hammer. I'm gonna play some skeletons to predict his piercing archer. Unfortunately, he won't be playing one. Oh, now he will be playing one. So that was a good Far Tiny hold out of me, and yeah, I still don't want to play a missile. For a simple reason, he isn't giving me value and still has a cycle advantage. So if he throws, okay, if he throws a EQ, okay, he didn't throw EQ, but I played a missile, so it probably was a mistake on my part. I'm gonna now try to defend like this. Yeah, it's gonna be a hold, which, well, usually is good. And if I'm gonna be in a good card rotation situation, I'm gonna just be fine. So this Subrag will get one hit, and yeah, he probably will play Piercing Archer. I'm not gonna prevent that. Yeah, this Piercing Archer didn't even connect. And right now we're gonna be up just by a tiny bit. I'm gonna play another missile because he played building. Like I've said, it's not a good thing to play buildings. And yeah, this time I'm gonna have to play bomb tower one tile lower, because if I didn't, his bomb tower would start attacking it, and yeah, that's usually not good. I'm gonna now try to defend the Steel Hammer. He's gonna play another Super Ape, and this time I actually forgot that his bomb tower was still targeting my bridge, so I'm gonna throw a missile, and he has 30 seconds to to attack, because, well, I am the one who defends through the entire game. He cannot outcycle me in this way. I'm gonna throw a Earthquake to get, Rolling Steel to get more hits, and that's gonna be another game. GG's, and I believe let's jump to the last game of today's video. See ya then. And we're back after, IRL. I had a short break in between games for searching some opponent. You've seen this match instantly, so yeah, lucky you, I guess. we're gonna be up against 0 medal player, and I'm gonna talk about the last drawback of playing spell cycle, which is like generally considered no fun. It's gonna be the fact that spell cycling first of all requires a very good precision, because if you're not the precise player, you won't be able to defend that comfortably. It requires patience, because battles usually will drag onto tiebreaker, and it's also pretty repetitive, because you pretty much do the exact same thing all the time. So if you want to have fun in the game, which I highly encourage you, don't play spell cycle, because it's not fun archetype to play. It's just good in some matchups if you can get it right, because frankly some things in this game cannot break through just bomb tower, some troops, and yeah, that's why people play it. Some archetypes like Super Ape and Spell Baits especially just don't break the spell cycle setup. And also one thing, I feel like I've mentioned it already, but obviously with this deck you don't have a counterplay. So if you drop some bit of damage, early or late, it doesn't even matter. If you just find yourself behind in the game, you pretty much cannot easily come back. The comeback is usually generated by your player opponent. I don't know. Just not pushing his advantage, and in a way spell cycle player is always in a disadvantage, and I mean by that you pretty much have to calculate every move you do, because if you don't, well, you're gonna just fall behind once and not get back to the game again. So the most important thing I feel like, if I were to give some advice how to play spell cycle, is just to be extremely safe, patient, and with that being said, at some point you will get your damage, because, well, if you keep poking, at some point you will find a weakness, and that's what people play against spell cycle. And, well, you're trying to abuse the exact same thing that your opponent does. Usually one party will go down. He's gonna get a digger on the position, so yeah, he's gonna get some damage. Usually from the practical standpoint, digger has the advantage over the spell cycle, because it's way cheaper and it pretty much behaves like spell. So if you get good diggers, you will get the advantage, but my opponent was just slacking a little bit in this game, and that's why we're gonna come out on top. And he's just not getting the damage he wants. I'm gonna play another missile, another steal, and that's gonna be it for this game number, I don't know, maybe 10. Someone counts that. I'm gonna count that anyway. Alright, so that's how you get 5600 medals with a spell cycle deck. Like I've said, this is my favorite variation, but you can make multiple changes. For instance, very popular change is like playing Piercing Archer instead of Archers, so you can at times get some damage through a Piercing Archer. That's why also very popular choice is playing it with Cyclone. If you have Piercing Archer and Cyclone, you pretty much have a secondary win condition to spells, and it can be very effective, but at the same time, if your opponent is aware of that, he usually will be able to stop that. So play it, of course, at your own risk, because if you get a bad Piercing Archer instead, for instance, in single mana, you will probably lose a tower and die. So yeah, also Archers are getting more value out of their mana, because usually Piercing Archer either is very good or very bad, and Archers are always mediocre. So it's like I've said previously, it's a safer play, and with Spell Cycle you usually want to be very safe, because when you fall behind it's very hard to come back. And I think that pretty much ends the list of things that I wanted to say in this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Leave me information down in the comment if you did, and if you want to see more content like this, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Alright, so I'm not gonna prolong it. I'm gonna see you guys in the next episode of Boom Arena.